We spoke the previous weeks the klolam of what makes a problem of Bishul Akim. In order it should be a problem of Bishul Akim, there's taught to know one Tanai is that has to be oil al shulchan malucham, as I mentioned, means a lavish suuda, bar mitzvah, chasana, etc. And the second Tanai has to be as se'ayna nechal chai. You cannot eat it when it is raw. It has to be cooked, and only then the bishul made something, and therefore it's asur. That's the two klulam. What makes it a problem of bishul akim, and what is bishul Yisrael? Now we're going to continue what kind of bishul asert and how to solve the problems, because again, just bringing the problem is not enough. We have to give the solutions. So when Chazalam ga'aser bishul akim, it's not only bishul. It goes in also afiyah, baking, tzliya, roasting, and frying, tigun frying. All of this is considered bishul. It's bishul through aish, and therefore Chazalam has ga'aser, because this is the regular way how people cook. So again, cooking, frying, baking, roasting, all these things is asur. Tigun is bechlal bishul, as we see in Hilchos Shabbos, is mamash ke bishul. Is mamayla tigun is auch dieselbe balucha. Shechanurig steht bishul, afiyah, and tzliya. But the Urich HaShulchan adds on also tigun, which is pashas Allah chronim guy in the meat, because tigun is bechlal bishul. But if a goy made prepared food, not one of these four things. For instance, he prepared food by smoking, or by salting. Putting herring, putting it in the salt. Through salting, it gets through lachila. Or kuvish. What is kuvish? So pickling. All of these things, although they make that the food should become ru'al achila, and although we have halacha melicha like resayich and hilchas yeredaya, we have a klal that if you salt meat and a non-kosher meat with kosher meat, non-kosher fish with kosher fish, that salting is harai keresayich, therefore it's like aish. And although me'ishen in lagab gvis haluchas is considered like bishul, afa piken, Chazal haben nicht geasert, because it's not through fire. Whenever it's not through fire, haben nicht geasert. Now, so kvisha, pickling, or salting, is kemiven not alle da aish. So versteht man pushet as nicht a heilig für bishlaken. No, even ishen, I'm not talking cold in ishen, in smoking. There's a cold smoking and hot smoking. I'm not cold smoking. Cold smoking is pushet. It's like kvisha, in like melicha. But the chiddush over here is even hot smoking, although it gets prepared through fire. After pekan, doesn't machazal nish geasert. Why is the reason? Why takabation is different? Because since the ocean prepares the food, not the fire. The fire makes the ocean, the smoke, and the smoke prepares the aish. It's like kili told us the aish. It's not aish.
The heat comes from the fire.
The heat makes the ocean be hot, and that gives, and that makes us so loud. Aber es ist nicht direkt. Also kili also wie a gruma. Also in der Chroinem.
What about steam?
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to. Let's go. We'll get to all these questions. We'll get to that. And the Achronim Zugen, what is the concept? The concept is, sof kol sof, the whole Nekida is als Kirev Levuvas. We want that, Ayim the word Hashem Kirev Levuvas. The Bederech Klal Kirev Levuvas is when he invites you to a meal. A regular meal is considered only through Aish Mamash. And anything which is not through Aish Mamash, although it's a thing which you can eat regularly, So this, first of all, gives a lot of leverage. I mean, for herring, that you can eat goyish herring, or for sushi. Goyish sushi. Now, I'm not talking about the rice. But akapunim, the fish, even though they prepare it, but then when it's raw and it's made edible, all these things, the fish is nicht kein problem from bishlakim. Now, the rice and other things.
I have to read it through the
The what?
Sushi is considered a choshev. You said around with it.
It's choshev, but the zugach, although it's choshev, in mitzat choshev, in voltas vengevein user, what? But sear tuna, yeah, anything which is not made through fire, yeah, it's not through fire, gaitaran de geder. So therefore, this is a gross shine killer which we could use because there is quite a lot of foods which is not cooked. It is taka through other methods which we're going to get to these Sachen. So kann man das gewisse Sachen, kann man gedenken, das kann man Michael sagen. Und so sagt Kuvish kann man wischeln, aber it's not through Eich, therefore is nicht kein problem. But one thing is very important to realize. When you buy something which is smoked, although we just mentioned when it's smoked is mitter, even when it's hot smoked, a lot of times, basically the food which is smoked is cooked already beforehand. It's only cooked in order to give a smoky taste. In order to give it, the flavor, the smoky flavor. So then, what's the problem? So she geworden user before I'll say Bischel. I'm talking that a food which gets prepared only through smoking, even hot smoking, therefore, such as it's not a problem. But if it was cooked beforehand, as is a problem, it's an user. Now, he brought up the Indian of steam. Aladai kitter, steam. And over here, we have a big if you cook by steam, if it is a problem or the nicht. Because the Nekidus Advurim is azoi. Kitter is staka toldos aish, aber es is a toldos aish. Different than smoking. With a zuge, smoking in the pshat, kitter in the pshat is the eitzem kitter is a bishul gesagt. Sie geworden, sie kocht, sie geworden von heiß. Kitter is azoi. There's two things. The ocean, again, we have to understand auch the Metzies a bissl. Ocean in the pshat, as be'etzem, the food gets, the ocean makes it edible. It does not necessarily cook it. It makes it edible. By going through the smokehouse makes it should be edible. So by mile of them zug dachroinam, smoking is no problem, but sof is as chotchig as the smoke comes through fire, but the bishul, the Sache was macht es Ruhe is nor a smoke, in my mind is no problem. When we are talking about kitter be'etzem, that means steaming. Steaming in the pshat is normal cooking be'etzem. It's normal cooking. So then, what is cooking? Yeah, every time we had cooking, what is cooking? Putting in food, putting in the water, and the water gets the moisture, the water gets hot. This cooks it. So my kitter is kitter is not in this category. In kitter, which should be a problem. That means kitter again. Let me talk. In kitter means steaming. Steaming goes in a different category. It's do achroin was a okay. Lemushel the mechzeliui. Let me go first. Das osram. Das sach osram of them. I got a kitter. Gab steaming we have the Levisha Motcha still in the famous Levisha Motcha before the Krieg. In Yerdais Madira Tenyuna Simiyi, the Shem Arya, Marsham, all of this whole kitor steaming is osar. In Ravoz Pasten Zoyla Lucha, steaming is an osar. Anything which was cooked by steaming, then it's a problem. The Machzeliui, Rabbi Falk, which he has a couple of in Heilig Beis, he has about 10 long shivas regarding Bishul Akim. Very nice shivas, Bachral. He's a very clear to Begishal Zayr, these soidas. He brings the clear Ran. I'm a Fiddish Ran, in Masechta Savoy de Zura, which the Ran says, as anything, since it's steaming is Toldas Aish, is this Usar. Toldas Aish is Kaish. If the Balda Toldas Aish cooks it, again, it's not only that the Aish makes some kind of things, which that thing prepares it to food. The ice cook, the told us ice cooks it mamash, it gets cooked. Das ist der Wort. Der Randtanz, gets cooked, halt das außer. Aber immer sehr, ist du a Zair so auf an der Issewe Heter, also old Poisek, on the Issewe Heter, the Sefer Issewe Heter, which anybody who learns here today knows what it is. Over there's a parish which is called Zair Zuov. And also the Shoyel in Shemari. Shemari Asert. But the Shoyel in Shemari wants to say that Toldos Aish is not Kaish. In Mamayli, since this is only Kitter, it's a Toldos Aish is an User. So we have a Machlokes against it. Toldos Aish is User or nicht. A Welt mit the Groila Chroinam hold that Toldos Aish is User. And so we pass in Dravosen mit a Welt mit Handiga Chroinam. But there are poskim which say Kitter is okay. Now we have to remember one thing, a very important thing which people don't realize. Let's assume you want to rely on the Zair Zuov, on the Shoel of Shem Arya, and there are also even more other one or two poskim which will rely on Kitter, which will be more lenient. For instance, the OU Rabbi Belsky is auch Michael Kitter. But we have to remember one thing. Kitter means the only way you cook it is through steaming. For instance, your wife, when she makes steamed vegetables, today's day there's a pot, you have underneath water, you boil the water, on top there is like another pot on top which has holes, I don't know, people know what I'm talking about. That's steaming. That means the vegetables gets cooked only by steaming. Such a thing, Homer is a machlokes achronim, this is okay or nicht, and there are poskim which will be more lenient. But when we're talking about tuna, for instance, a lot of people say tuna is not a problem. It doesn't need to be Bishul Yisrael. Why tuna should be not Bishul Yisrael? Because it's steam. It is true that it's steam. But how does the steam work? Steam works to make hot the water of the water or the oil which is in the can, and that cooks it. And that's regular Bishul. In such a case, in the header of Kitter. Kitter is the pshad, the steam cooks it. But when steam boils water, and the water cooks it, that's regular Bishul. And this is how the Achronim itself say it.
Why the difference in Ishan?
Ishan I said, because Ishan is the pshad, the smoke itself prepares the food. And therefore, Kitor, if you have the steamed vegetables, which is according, like I mentioned before, what it is without water, that means only in the bottom there is water, and the steam cooks it. There are poskim which want to say it goes into together of ishon, of smoking, because in a way it's the same concept. Agam se nicht do the same. Se do achilig, aber koim zal chappen. Ishon is the pshat. What prepares the food? It should be edible. Smoke. The smoke comes through fire. But what is the prepared? The smoke. Again, I'm not talking about when it gives a flavor. I'm talking when the smoke gives the smoke makes you. Comes the other achroim which Michael Bakita, and it says the same thing as Bakita. Steaming. Why? Because what is steam? Steam is the pshat. I boil water. Goes out. Heat.
Same idea.
It's same idea. So they want to be Michael. Other achroim want to say no. It's not the same idea. Because after all, Safkosov, the water over here gets out steam, and the steam cooks it. It is as if it's a Bishul. It's as if a Bishul. This is the machlokes decision by steaming. But when we are talking about a can of tuna or whatever food, which is chickpeas or whatever, all these things which they put it in the can raw with the water, and then it goes through steaming. Which what does steam do? The steam is as if fire. The steam boils the water gets hot, es wird gekocht, mal in Wasser. In such a case, zug nach Röhm auf dem ich can heter. You have the heter of a company, you have other hetters which the OU are alive. But Rabbi Belsky was eres from the Groise Makilam. In Kitter, Zuklur, remember, if this is such a case, that you're boiling in a can, that, in such a can, is the Teugis nicht. And he said, and Rabbi Belsky writes that Ramoshe Feinstein zuok, the Lusha V'Sashab, zuok mar ala makilam. Ramoshe Feinstein scrammed a lot of people in a Michael of this kind of steaming, and this kind of thing is no heter, it's real bishul. The steaming which we have in Machlokes Achroinam is when the water gives out steam, and the steam cooks the vegetables. It gets cooked by steam. Not when it gets cooked by water, by oil, regularly, but the only reason why the water is hot, or the oil is hot, that's through steaming, that's not a heter. So Rabbi Belzke allein schreibt, as Moshe Feinstein made gewaltig, and people do not realize, of die Chai Chilik, we don't have to. Now, Moshe Feinstein would have been Michael in tuna, I don't know, tuna not, because he says, aber I can put him gewisse food, which to makes in companies, because he goes with the heter, as I mentioned, aber es charoisches mit andere Sachen, we have to know how, that's only if you cannot do that same, you cannot do it in Bais Yisroel. Hot andere Teilen. Aber we should realize, as there's a big difference of smoking, what kind of steaming, what kind of steaming is doing. So, answer the question. Now, what's doing about a microwave? Microwave. Is a microwave cooking through a microwave? Is Bishul Akim or not? Good. You said it. Azoi halter Shlomo Zalman that a microwave is Bishul Akim. Shlomo Zalman, Rav Osner, Rav Eliyashiv, all the Teres Poiskem, the big Gdoli Achronim, which basically, because they hold, Rav Osner likes you noch an a kid. Rav Osner tut azoi. If der Isser wat wegen Bishul Akim wat gewein, the Maleches Bishul, if Bishul Akim would be the Malucha, the Maleches Bishul, then we have to deal and think, does this go in the gate of Bishul or not? Maleches Bishul nicht. Lass mal sagen in Ilche Shabbos, ich gedoime. Da muss kein Adam sein. Ja, hier ist Maleches Bishul, nicht Bishul. Aber over here der Isser nicht Maleches Bishul. Over here der Isser, Bishul Akim ist ja gut gekocht. And it's gekocht. It's in the cider as it's gekocht. That's the way how you cook today's day. A lot of people microwave. So my love is what is this user? So man nicht der Guy der Zier ist ein bisschen, so man der Guy der Indien als du sie der Weg heim gekocht, ins es geht nicht dran die 3 Geder bis Chazal am Gasser. Am Mater gewesen. Why steaming is not considered? What do you mean? Steam, which steaming we're talking? When regular steaming, steaming the pshat is it gets cooked only through steam, not through water. The water is not hagruma. In order the steam should what?
Just the fat break.
Fine, but the food is not in the water. The food is on top. So basically, the water which steamed comes out is a very kitur. Thing we understand as smoking is the pshat is it's not through fire, although it comes through fire. But what be'etzem machs the bishul, the smoke. So over here, what makes the bishul? Steam, hot air, hot para. It comes from water, aber es ist nicht Wasser. Okay, again, this is basically the machlokes zwischen nach Gdoli Achronim. Nach Fahne kriegt. Das geht around the bishul. Again, most of the poskim hold there is like a problem of bishul. Well, this is bishul, Aber the andere halten, now in the tzir, when it bakes, when it cooks, in this tzir, when it cooks now, when it's already hot air, it's not the tzir from Wasser. In such a case, those give get around the machlokes. Es heißt Bischler der Wasser oder nicht. Das heißt Bischler der Wasser. Aber dann in der Shabbos, an das Rauling in a vaporizer, in das machen Steam, ist Geist daran Schale von der Meluche der Reise. Nein, das heißt Bischel alle dein Maim oder alle Regel Bischel oder nicht. Das das Sure ist das. Oi bezug as Bischel as the water basically is this is Wasser, or but the time it comes to kocht es up is a steam. So normal is es normal Bischel da mein. Fire, Wasser normal Bischel. Oi bezug genein aber bepol was kimt uns mir is a schön steam. Is man es bedan man sie smoking. Das Avada. Steam kimt for fire, smoke kimt auch for fire. Aber wusst ja, ist du de Schelle, das heißt der neue Gede, das Team heißt der neue Gede, und das heißt ich kann neue Gede. Exactly. Again, I don't know how you make. Is it in the? How do you make it?
Put water in the bottom and you close it and it's steep.
And the egg itself is above the water.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. Steam cooking.
The pans they have water at the bottom.
Yeah, this is exactly. This is like steam vegetables go like that.
You said that the tuna cans, since it's not a steam.
No, guna cans is the fish lie in the water or in the oil.
So if you have a pan, that's chicken. Chicken has some juice.
No, that's tigun.
Eating with a pan.
No, eating up. That's called tigun. Tigun, that's called frying. Frying klora. Frying is the same thing. Tigun is dieselbe zaak wie a bischel. Dem is ook een machloikes in there.
Theoretically, if there's no water in the can,
What?
there would be no water in the can with the tuna.
Yeah. No water, no liquid, anything? There must go maar in aan de eerste machloikes and you'll have poison which will be Michael. Yeah. Yeah. So in such a case, will be poison which will be Michael. And gdoila poskim. Again, the majority still had gehalten after such a case. Och not, but I can put them. Then must has the yesh bukel mukli. If there is but a liquid, is the holodais is a normale bischel. Ze kan zijn tolde de tolde. Ze niet de woord tolde de tolde. Ze niet de woord tolde de tolde. De woord is tolde tolde is was weet aan Metzias. Wenn ze zijn tolde de tolde nicht an Metzias, habe ich kein Problem. Ich meine, lo de poskim zal again. Als gelernt gaan ze poskim asam.
Cooking
Close the door. What?
from the Shabbos, it says cooking from the sun.
Yeah.
Right, Bishul.
Is that
We have some gegeles. This is in a Shabbos geht es an andere Geiden. No, one way a bishul akim is like this.
Yeah.
It is darf sein, kann sein a bishul all the Eish, the problem. Could be. But what's the Tomer, the Eish will boil water and the water will cook it. What's the Afal?
Well, vielleicht ist ein Stückchen Wasser.
Ich verstehe. Ich bin ein Masber. Wer ist denn nicht an Wasser? Ist kein Zahn, gucken alle der Eich, ist da kein Problem. I don't know. Ich kann nicht getracht dafür, weil it's not practical. You know, cooking all the Shemish. But, no, when did the last time when did the last time you made the Beit Milk Gegeles or somebody over here made the Beit Milk Gegeles? Oh, that's I get the question. Yeah. What?
You ever see a person putting a pizza in a very hot car? Show how hot the car gets when they eat, and after a couple of minutes, it's baked.
G'day came with it as a
What?
G'day came with it as a slow. Einer der Leute auf Max, Kulot, die gerne Platz hat. Sie gelernt auf das ist chicken.
I don't chicken. Okay, so let my mom should say. Yeah. Okay, so let's finish it. Let's just sum it up again. Let's just sum it like that again. Anything which is cooked, baked, fried, roasted, is grilled. All of them is lechol hadayis. It's considered bishul akim. It's nish kishim sufik. Anything which is salted, smoked or pickled, yeah, is lechol hadayis nish kana. Nish kan bishul akim. Wie halb tchun machloikes? Halb tchun machloikes kitur steamed. That we have points which say steaming is considered like cooking, and poskim say steaming is not considered cooking, it's like smoking. And again, we have to understand that's only steaming, which is not in the water itself, it is only gets smoked. Then we have the thing as a microwave, is basically all of the achronim today's day go that microwave is a regular bishul, and to do bishul akim. Fine. Now, next. The halacha is the Shulchan Aruch, the Mechaber says, in order that a thing should be osir al bishul akim, the goy has to have kavana that he's kavana lebishul, to cook. If he didn't have kavana to cook, then it doesn't become aser. And the Gemara gives the Shulchan Aruch gives a moshel. If a guy wanted to burn what is it called, grass on the floor, in the backyard, and there was a grasshopper. It's a halacha for the Yemenites. They could eat it. We don't eat grasshoppers, but they eat grasshopper. What? Morocco, I don't know, but but I could put them time and I saw them eating it, so could be. Oh, okay, yeah, fine, okay. Somebody threw out eggs from the window, and the guy wanted to burn grass, and by burning the grass, the egg got cooked. It's not a problem. He didn't have kavanah to cook. Or exactly, there's the next motion which I wanted to say. The guy wanted to put on the tanur, wanted to put on the oven in order to make warm the house, and he didn't know that there's food in the oven, in the kitchen, in the tanur, in the oven. So therefore, since he didn't have kavanah to make a bishul, it's not a problem. Or the Shulchan gives another moshel. He wanted to take off the hair from an animal, from the animal, a dead animal after it was shchita, and he had fire. They used to take it off with fire, and therefore the piece of meat got cooked. Such a case, all these cases like kapunam is since he didn't have kavanah, therefore it's not a problem of bishul akim. Is aber zut over the Shulchan Aruch that it's only if he didn't have kavanah b'chlal to cook. As he mentioned, he wanted to put on the oven in order it should become warm. Or the Shulchan Aruch gives the moshel, he wanted to put on the oven in order to cook a keli. To finish a keli, it should become strong, a clay cheres, you have to put it in the oven. Such a case, but what is if he thought that they put in the pizza in the oven? And he wanted to put on the oven. The lamaisa, like the cake. So he had kavanah of to bake, but he didn't have kavanah this to bake. Such a case is nicht kan heter, because of kavanusi gewähnt zu backen. Kavanusi ist zu kochen. Although ein kavanusi of day part, afe peken et zan user. Cooking keli is nicht cooking. It's not called cooking. It's a way of making a keli. It's like...
You want to steam something and accidentally cook it.
The what?
You want to steam something or smoke
But...
it. You want to try to smoke the meat.
And he put on the fire, and the fire fell into the fire and got the smoke. Okay. Ja, bedeutet dat ik wat papier. En ik nam, kan zijn als je bald kavanusi gewen of een meter. Okay. Okay, so again we know already Bechlal that the two things we say oil shich malucham and ein nechachai. Now we know that has to be another tnai, that has to be bishul, and the ways how it's osir. Now, the final thing which we just said is has to be kavanah lavash. What is the hetayrim? How do we make sure it shouldn't be a problem with bishlakim? Again, you have a kitchen, all the workers are goyim, you want it to be bishli Yisrael. What do? What is the solution that you have a kitchen, a catering company, which all of them are goyim, and there's no Yid over there. A Yid is coming in and out, mashgich, comes the or whatever. What's the solution? How to make sure that you shouldn't have? Zug dir mechaber azoy. Do a major machloike zwischen the mechaber and remu. And it's very important to know that. It's very important to know that I spoke not long ago to a mashgich in a restaurant, and he tells me, he calls me and asks me, the Sfardim have different halachim bishul akim than Ashkenazim. He says, oh, big time. So I asked him, what, why? He says, I was in the kitchen, and Pinta stepped out, and the guy calls me, you have to come back, because there's a guy over here, which doesn't want to eat my food, only if he puts it on the kitchen. I don't want to let him in the kitchen. Come back. So he asked me, why is it like this? So I started asking him, how did it look? How, till I found out he's a Svardisher. Oh, so now as a Svardisher, and I found them, the Ramu is, the Mechaber is higher Machmer, when it comes to Bishul Akim. Usually the Ramu is the Machmer. But there are some halachas which the Ramu is the Michael and the Mechaber is the Machma. For instance, Bishul Akim or Hilchas Arupna Mesirchas from Abahayim, the Ramu is Michael and the Mechaber is Meir Machma. So again, I'm going to give you the halachas of both. Kemiven, most of the Nekidus is Nekidus that we're going to speak about Ashkenazim, because we rely on the Ramu about these halachas. But we should know that the Svardim are more Machman on this. So the Mechaber says, what? Call it Beis Yosef. Yeah. So Zug the Mechaber in Siv Zayin, Kifid Gimel Sifid Zayin, that the way that we learned in Hilchas Pas Akim, remember, that if a Yid puts on the oven, and the goy bakes it, it's fine. And the Mechaber Paskins like that. Mechaber Paskins like that. If a Yid puts on the oven, then everything which a Yid baked is called Pas Yisroel. Zug the Mechaber, this is als nor ba Pas. Pas hat man gemacht akila, that once you put on the fire, although the goy bakes it, it's called Bishul Pas Yisroel. When it comes to Bishul, hat man nicht Michael gewählt. Why? What's the svora? Is the Terzuv Masber by Tanir by Pas, when the Yid puts on the fire, we see his Maisa. How do you put on fire? Again, we're not talking about today's day. Today's day you put on a fire, the gas range, the same as you put on the stove. But we're talking about the way how they used to bake, or today in a matzah bakery, which they have still old-fashioned ovens. Over there, in order to bake or to cook, you have to put on the fire. Then, once the oven is hot, you clean away all the gechulam, and then you cook. Zug the Ramu, since Ba'tanir, in order to bake, you have to have in order to put on the fire and make it ready, it should be able to bake. Is a big masa, is masa Yisroel nicker. The thing whatever the Yid does is nicker, it's a masa Yisroel. So therefore it's okay. But Bishul, it's not, you don't have to do a psape'ila to clean afterwards the gecholam. You put on the fire, and the fire keeps on, the gecholam, everything stays in there. You put on the pot on top. So once you put on the fire, and then the goy puts in the pot, zayt sich nicht masa Yisroel. You don't see Mas Yisroel. Natan, you see Mas Yisroel. It's a geparat with them. But over here, because you have to take out all the gecholim in order to bake. Over here, in order to be able to cook, you just put on the fire and you put it in the pot and you stay with all the gecholim. But Maila, Zug the Tas, that's the husband of the Mechaber. The Mechaber makes a difference of Pas in Bishul. But Pas is genik only when a Yid puts on the fire. But Bishul, it's not enough. That's the Shittas HaMechaber. So therefore, putting on the fire, puts on the fire, and a Yid puts on the pot, according to Mechaber is not good. But the Ramu dinkt sich of them, he disagrees with Mechaber, and he says that the same as by Pas, if a Yid puts on the fire, or even if the fire is there and you mix the fire, or anything which has a hashpur on the bishul, the Yid does anything has some kind of ashpur on the bishul, it's enough. And therefore, if you put on the fire and the goy puts on the pot, or even if the goy puts on the fire and you put on the pot, or even the goy puts on the fire and the pot, and you are busy over there, to mixing it, yeah. All these things you gave something for the bishul, you did something for the bishul, and therefore it's not a problem, and it is bishul Yisroel.
See? In other words, the oven's on and it's still in the...
It's not because it's nowadays no difference. Now, how many is the klulam fin...
Keep the halachas anyway.
We keep the halachas avada. Although, fakir, by us, we would say, pas will be the same osir. Right. But again, since the Mechaber had gepaskt as a meter, ins geimen ish machmer zan, maybe for the Mechaber. Daich maasher osir teure. Daich ma de shechenorig asir.
Right, but he didn't give a reason why?
What?
He didn't say a reason between Pas and Bishul?
Yeah, who the Mechaber? He said he gave it. Is the Terzuv gives the reason? No, aber the manit is a drabunen. Man darf gedenken, koim sagt, is a drabunen. But Maila zug the Mechaber, zug the Terzuv that zug the Hesber. The Mechaber zug another Terzuv. In Kemenish Moises an Sachen was because the system changes. If the system, oib the Chazal matter gewein. Agam the Svurige was a matter given. We cannot answer more than we need to answer as a shechnuch answer. In skemenish machen was an. In skemenish machen. Sie genickt some genickt chimras, you know. So Bamaila, so although today's day you would say even the Mechaber would say pas should be ocht also, it's only a turn. Aber pas do noch hasiba kalalech mi Yehudim as they mentioned we were more Michael pas palter, which were not Michael pas bishul. So but pas Mechaber Michael. Aber the Mutana no, it's the same thing. Exactly, the Mutana pas the same thing pas the same as Babishul. All of them. What?
Okay.
The Remu kim zung lehukel. Exactly. And he goes even more. The Remu says, even if a Yisrael mix the pot, shloi b'kavuna, kavuna. Schrapt the fellow was at it. You know, he was talking with someone and they took the pot, mix it. After we can, we bought it gemixed. So the whole flappers, so the psige games to the cooking. It is angeht. Noch mehr, zog the Terezuah, bringt the Rubi Hashem, darke Moshe. Even if you blow it on the fire, hast es geblosen, geworden ein größerer Feuer, hast es gemacht, es war ein größerer Feuer, hat es auch sein helfen. Noch mehr, sucht der Remu, aber man will sagen, bis wie viel, as much as we are going, even if you throw in a kissum. Now in past we know that you are going to a baker, and you throw in a kissum, you throw in a match, it's good enough, something. Kimt of them, the Schach, and will suchen, Michael of the Remu, as he says, by Bishul, if you throw in a kissum, that should be fine. And he brings us, du hast a Israel Heter, du hast Smak, was halt so. So therefore, according to the Remu, if the Schach lent him up, it goes so far that anything you gave, a drop, you put in a kissum, a match, it's enough, because you gave something for the fire. Noch einmal, ich will noch, suche ich da luche, bald am Geist, wir sind mir passend.
Does that help if it's already cooked?
We'll get to that halucha. Again, let's, lass mal gehen auf, in Zerbrunki muss ich die ganze Sache, es ist schon geguckt, der Rat, ja. Jetzt also, der sucht die Schach. Kim der Urch als Schulchen, und sucht, wait. It's a little bit too much. We took it to a stretch. The Machshach, which he wants to add on, that throwing in a match, that's too much. You can rely on it, b'shas ad-chak. If b'shas ad-chak, Shabbos, somebody cooked, the going to cook the food, and a person had put in a match, we don't take it all the time. What do we take? If the Yid puts on the fire and the Goy puts it on, bin ich masken. Although nicht alles in der Masken, aber they mochen. The Chochmas Udam wants to Tana, as the Remuza is sehr große Michael, and we can only use the B'shas Chak. Also wie weit geht es? Chochmas Udam will sagen, only B'shas Chak. The Terezuv even is not happy with the Remu. The Terezuv itself, the Remu is a big Michael. Again, anything which you do, it's okay. Zug the Terezuv, I am ready to ride on the Remu only b'Beit Yisroel, in a Jewish house. That means, if it's not a Goyish bakery, or it's not a Goyish restaurant, if it's a Yiddish house, you have a Goyit over there, and she cooked, and you did one of these things which the Remu says, I'm ready to be Michael. Why? Since there is a Shittas Rabbeinu Avrom. The Tur brings down a Shittas Rabbeinu Avrom, one of the Rishonim, which hold, B'Bais Yisroel Nishukan problem for Bishul Akim. The whole problem of Bishul Akim is only B'Bais Goy. In B'Bais Yisroel is Nishdukan Bishul Akim. The Achroinim do not agree. The Poskim do not accept this Rabbeinu Avrom. The Rishonim, all of them are disagree with the Rabbeinu Avrom. But we use it whenever we have other tzarifim, we can use this Rabbeinu Avrom. Zug the Terezuah, the Remu went way far with this item. I am ready to accept it. In such a case, only when it's B'Bais Yisroel, then we have also the Rabbeinu Avrom, then we can be Michael. But we cannot be Michael, anything which is this. The Remu goes even further. The Remu says if the Goy put on the fire and he cooked, but from where did he take the fire? He took it from a yortzeit lecht, which a Yid put on. So Aish al Yisroel, azoivat.
Like a pilot.
Yeah, which we're going to get to that pilot. What kind of pilot? Again, this is, it's in the fire. Exactly. You brought up a very nice point. Es sind beide gerecht, aber again, ich halt noch nicht dort. Und so warum kommen wir dort? You're running way too fast for me.
According to
Yeah.
practically of Sparti,
None of this is acceptable.
he has to, a yid has to light the fire
And put it on. Yes. Has to put it on. Then, once you put it on, then schon, keshe the goiti was
puts it on a fire that is by which
The what? Also good. Because Lamas macht die ganze Bischel. Yeah, that's also fine.
According to this opinion, that says it's okay in a Yiddish house.
Yeah.
Does that mean a Yiddish store, a Yiddish factory, a Yiddish...
Lechoire is alles dezelfde Sache. As a Beis Yisroel, hat man Michael gewinnt. Yiddish store means the balabatischkeit is a Yisroel. Yeah. But again, we don't rely on this. But we use it as tzarifim. Bechlal in kashrus, this hette for a bavrum, we use the kashrus. That's one of the reasons why agri is such a gewaldige mala. Because it's Beis Yisroel. Whenever you have a shayla, it's Beis Yisroel, hosta sachen. If you have to go into a goyish company and do things, it's much more harder than a Yiddish owner. So this Rebbe Avrum, we take tzarifim, also for tzarifim. It's not, it's not lalucha. But the Tirazuv Zukt, I'm ready to, what?
Many stories that how this person was Mazaka, the whole community, and that one, you have, why don't you say it's halacha?
We don't, and pass. Pass, we pass like that. Yeah, the Mechaber itself passes like that. The Mechaber says like this. In a bakery, pass hat andere haluchas. That's why the Mechaber itself is masking to rely on a kisam. The Mechaber itself, the Gemara sucht schon a kisam. It is only that the Shach took kisam to Bishul also. The Remu didn't mention kisam.
But he says about the same.
The Shach is this masber, as is clearly the same. V'bal the Remu guide go with such a step further that even the chittich and anything. So therefore, so they're eating kisam. Aber the andere Achronim tannen halt nicht wie the Shach in the Kida. But by pas avada, you're right. This is what you do even today. Today, in a lot of Arab town communities, which you don't have bread, Bishul Yisroel, Pas Yisroel. So there was always a Labavish Chosid, which goes every morning, and puts on the fire. So Azik Yarab and Chanama. But when it comes to Bishul, is putting on the fire, we're going to rely, Yehuda. Putting on the fire, we're going to rely, all of us. Again, us Remunikas, we Ashkenazi, we rely on the Remu. When you put the Goyitz put on the fire, then Hakal Morgan. The Remu goes even further than putting on the fire. Blowing on the fire, and all these kind of small things. And the Shach goes even further, putting on a kisam. All these things is the Tas Nish Maskem. The Tas Doch Maskem, that if you put on the fire, and the heat finishes, puts on the top, the Choladais is okay. And that's why we rely, Lamasa, Halucha Lamasa. We are relying on the Remu, and that's the minig. The Chronim are right there, the Remu Alai Reis Chayna Hagen. Aber the spätige Chronim, that's the minig why we're all Ashkenazim. Although do Ashkenazim which don't like this. They only rely on the Remu. Chachmas Odam. He says we don't rely on the Remu only B'shas Chak. We don't rely on the B'shas Chak. We rely on the Remu when the Yid puts on the fire, and then the whole day, once the Yid put on the fire, the whole day is Beseder. What?
Until the fire goes out.
Kviven, yeah.
If it made the fire and the Yid puts it on, it works just for that match.
What does that mean, made the fire?
If a guy turns on the fire and the Yid puts it on,
Puts in the fire, the same thing, it's good.
after you put more food.
What do you mean after you put more food?
Only that batch is pushed in straw, and then after a few.
Of course. Then the goy puts on avada.
Even according to
Yeah, because the goy put on the fire and the goy cooked. What does he have in the second batch of cooking? Nothing.
what about pasta straw would be the same thing?
A what? Same thing.
Maybe you like add it to
The pasta rule, there's a heter. If it's still warm, the oven is still warm, then is do achroinim is willen zoeken. If the Remu line halt also, but that's again, but pasta is much easier. If the oven was still warm when the guy put it on, then
It goes out quickly.
but what?
So if the example goes out, they quickly relight it.
That not, because in such a case is it goes out. It depends. there's over here in the deli, there's an oven, which convection oven. The commercial convection oven, it works like that. Once you open the door, it locks, closes, the oven shuts off. So what happens? The guy opens, he's a cook. He opens the convection oven, he looks in, it's not yet ready. He closes this. Or whatever, he wants to add something in. Closes the door, who puts on the fire now? Das ist nicht Bischul, it's nicht kein Pass. It's a regular metal oven. Go in. All the stores have the same oven. And there's a big problem. Convection oven is a big problem. And all the kashrus organizations write that you have to be on top of it, and we have to bypass. We have to bypass the ovens in order that it shouldn't be a problem. Bypass. The solution, I did this over here. I brought down Levi and Troy. And stays on when you open the door. Warte, everything. Good, stays on. Like your oven at home. Like oven at home, it stays on. You have to bypass.
Ovens at home also, I think.
What?
Some modern ovens that you get at home also turn off when somebody opens the door.
It opens, shuts off the whole.
Every time I open my oven door, it says door open.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that it stops working. The convection oven stops working. So you have to. This is very important. Which people do not realize this. So therefore you have to bypass it. And once you bypass it, habe ich kein problem. Ist wie lang sie gewähnt, du Mendy, gewähnt der Kecher, es Ayid, habe ich kein issue. But once there's no Mendy Berkowitz is not the cook anymore, and the guy is a cook, then they have has a problem. Darf man das bypassen. Akapunem, zirga ein Zibus ins Haltmer, just to sum it up, wie ins halt mir jetzt, weil ich sehe, müssen wir sich sagen, andere Woche warten auf den Kinder. Aber Akapunem, the Remu says again, let me just sum it up. The Remu, the Mechaber says, the only way how you can make it Bishul Yisrael is if the goy puts on the fire and the Yid puts on, I'm sorry, only if the Yid puts on the pot on the fire. It's not enough the Yid puts on the fire. If the Yid put on the fire and the goy put on the pot, it's a problem. No one has to do both. The master, we don't go according to the Bas Yosef, we go according to the Remu, which the Remu says, if the Yid puts on the fire, the goy could put on now the pot. It's good for, as long as the fire works, even if you have an oven which you could basically be mechata, you could be mechata, that will be enough. Even, what else? Magdales Uaish, Nippeches Uaish, puts in the shach, adds on, even putting in a match, will be held. Anything which you did something, and we're going to go, Mitzvah next week, more in depth, not next week, we're not going to be here, but a week later, Mitzvah Shembli later, we're going in, what does it mean? How much does it have to be cooked? When is it a problem already? If the guy cooked it already, par cooked, all these halachas is very important to know, even according to the Remu. So again, the Remu holds, whenever you have a chaylik in the fire, then it is called Bishul Yisrael. Throwing in a match, zug de shach, dus kann man auch verlassen, the achronim verlassen sich nicht, they disagree with the shach, and hand alle achronim will say that putting in a kisem will not help, so therefore, even turning on a little bit of fire is not necessarily a solution for these things. The Terezuv zukt, when could we rely on the Remus all hatayrim? When it is b'bayis Yisrael, b'shas hatchak. The Chochmas Udam and the Urchashilchan also say that all the hatayrim of the Remus you could use only b'shas hatchak or b'shas hefset. But regularly we don't use it. But what? Let me just make it clear. The heter was the Remus says that the Yid puts on the fire and the goy puts on the pot, or the Yid put on the fire, the goy put on the fire, and the goy put on the pot, and the Yid stirs the pot. This is a Sach, was in Samar Uneman, as we the Remu, du was halten nur bei die Evet, but la Masse, the minig is, am verrat sich auf dem, lekitchille ins Ashkenese. Darf man gedenken, as a Sach. So, bei Meile, if it happens that the goiter, the cleaning lady, cooks in your house. I hope it's not so. But if it happens, a kimpeturn, or it's the Asach von der Halakhos when Zan Stadt Negaya, when you have an older person and you have a aide, which is she does or he does whatever it needs to. The best thing should be the heat should put on the fire, and then you're good to go. If it happens that the guy put on the fire and he put on the pot and it's noch nicht bashel geworden, then a yid should go at least and go mischen the pot, stir the pot. So if a child comes into the parents' house when they have an aid and she sees a pot on the dust, the first thing she should do, she should make sure to take a spoon and mish. When it's finished, it's done, then it's already, it doesn't help. What? Even if Tamar Bruch will not help. We'll get to this halucha mit Shemuch.